because I hit go live, but when does it actually go live? I've been too lazy to wait for the 30 seconds.
I think we are live now.
Yay! Hello, everyone. It still hasn't shown up for me.
We're live, but I don't know if we are. Hello, if we are.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Diversity is Lit book club. Yes, we are live. Wait, show headlines. What's that? Oh, sorry. I just saw something that's new on StreamYard. Hold on. I could do host. Hold on. Ooh, I'm the host. Okay, that's
cool.
weird. Okay.
Ooh, nice. Add it in there. Put it in there.
No, there's not enough space already. If it was like next to it, but I'm like, there's not enough room. Okay, anyways. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Diversity is Lit book club. Today is our January discussion. I'm all sorry. I just woke up from a nap. I'm manic right now. For our January book of the month pick, which was the Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. Nice and shiny things. Shiny and deathly things on the inside.
Yes, very shiny.
And we are very excited to talk about this book today, as we always are. But this book is by our this is our first trans author that we have read a book by, so that's really exciting. And then Teresa is our lovely co-host who was bit by a spider and is now in the comments. So Teresa, I so hope that you feel better. But thank you for joining in the comments. I'll have my lovely co-hosts introduce themselves. They are also linked down below, so please give them a follow because they're all wonderful people. If you don't know me, my name is Holly. I'm a kidlit writer. We'll be returning to querying a YA fantasy soon. That has been on the back burner because of life. But I like to read all things, and I'm happy to be here.
Good. Me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Alicia Grumley, and I am a poet and a nonfiction writer a little bit, and a YA fantasy writer, and I like to read in all of those same genres. And I am really excited to talk about the book because I really enjoyed it, and it just seems like it's been a long time since we've been on, but it's only been like a month. So
yeah, it does feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, like I don't know. January has, like 9,552 days, but also like 12 days. So
accurate.
Yeah, like and I don't know which way it was at any point. So
so true. I love it.
But I'm glad to be here with you all.
Me?
Yeah, you could go, Vanessa.
So I'm Vanessa. I go by Vanessa Marie on all my platforms. I'm a YA fantasy, paranormal, and horror writer, and book publisher / diversity reader, and all the things. And currently working on a BIPOC queer anthology this year, and I've got open submissions for that. So if anyone's interested, you can go check out my channel to get more info.
Yay! Awesome.
Super cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Venkat. I'm also a kidlit writer. Kind of been on a hiatus for a little while, but I've been keeping up with my reading for sure. And happy to be here.
Yay. And Teresa, feel free to give
Intro.
a little intro for your,
in the comments.
I might be a little slow. I'm like, I really shouldn't put the host thing on under because this is not accurate right now.
We'll cover you, girl. We got you.
Thank you.
Between Heather and Vanessa and I backing you. You'll be fine.
We got you.
And Avion's here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, internet bestie. haven't read the book, but I love the title, so I can't wait to hear what it's about. Awesome.
Okay.
Yay.
That's probably a good point to remind you that we do talk spoilers, though. So maybe if you are not wanting to have those spoilers, bookmark it, come back to us. Because we do talk spoilers.
And if you are watching either live or the replay, feel free to answer the questions with us. We love to hear your thoughts on the book as well. So really quickly, Alicia gave the disclaimer of spoilers as far as content warnings for the Sunbearer trials. There is blood and injury depiction, death of a parent, house fire, bullying, gender dysphoria, classism, transphobia, violence, and emotional abuse. So, just some light reading. Yeah. we always are like, whenever there's like two things, we're like, oh, this is a middle grade, because if it doesn't have a lot, it's a middle grade. Okay. Yay, spoil away. Okay, awesome. And Teresa says, hello, I'm a thriller author, currently working on a historical paranormal thriller. Woo, fun. All right. So what is everyone's overall thoughts on the book? What did they rate it? Did they like it? Did they not?
I'm a 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I liked the descriptions, like the characters. I really enjoyed it. It was a really solid YA fantasy for me.
Nice. And then also I made a note because I didn't want to mess it up, but Aiden goes by they, them.
That'll be good to remember as we're having
Thank you.
Yeah. I made sure while I was reading. I was like, hold on, I need to make sure. Oh, well, on Twitter it says he, they, but in the bio it says they, so I was just like, but yeah. I mean, I was really excited because I read Cemetery Boys, and it had like, so usually we pick like a newer books or something on as the book poll options. So, but like, I had put the Cemetery Boys up, I think it was in June, for like Pride Month, but it didn't get picked. So I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to read this on my own. And I loved it. Then I read Lost in the Neverwood. So I was really excited to read the Sunbearer Trials because I had loved Cemetery Boys. And I thoroughly enjoyed the Sunbearer Trials as well. I like, you just say trials in there and I am like, it's like an auto read. It's just like, I'm just like a horror for, I'm just like, yes, like it's just like, and part of it's that kind of like nostalgic feel with like the dystopian and stuff, because just anytime there's like a competition, it just feels good, you're in for like a treat. And I felt just so immersed in the story with the world building and all of the lands being different and all of the trials being different. I really do love trials that I mean, these were all like pretty like physical, but I even like trials where it's like, hey, there's like, it's a puzzle, kind of more like maze and stuff. So I like that we kind of had like a little bit of that too. And just the diversity that was in there. There's, non-binary characters, trans characters. And it just felt really natural in the story. And yeah, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Like it wasn't like that top read for me, but I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. I think that's what you just said, Holly, about all the different representation is one of the things that is so like necessary about Own Voices story, right? Because Aiden, is our first trans author, like we said, that we've read, and now we also have a non-binary tag, they, them, So I think that's just another good point to highlight why Own Voices stories particularly matter while reading in diverse reading. Does that make sense?
Exactly. And like this is the first, I'm like, I don't even know if there's a YA fantasy that exists in the world that talks about binders and like tests and stuff. So it just was so cool that it's like he's just throwing it in there, and I'm like, I'm learning about this that is happening in real life to people, but I'm learning about it in a fantasy, and that's kind of cool.
Right.
So
one thing I was going to say, going back to your point about the trans author, I can't remember for sure, but I think Sonora was also had identified as trans.
So no, really?
I think, but
I thought I remember them, right? Or
they are non-binary, but I can't remember for sure or not if they also identified as trans. I thought they did. I believe they did, but I'll have to go and check.
Yeah, if anybody has the knowledge of that or can look that up too and wants to add that in the comments, feel free.
Yeah.
In my interview I did with her, I think we talked about it, but I can't remember exactly what she said. So, or they.
Yeah. Doesn't say. I remember in the interview, I remember they said they were non-binary, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of our first trans authors, possibly.
Right.
Yes.
What about you two, Vanessa, Heather? Did you guys ladies like it, not like it? Where are we at?
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. Of course, it's mythology, so definitely my thing. And I have not read Cemetery Boys yet, but it is on my list of books that I want to read. So, and then when Sunbearer got picked, I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, so I did want to read it. I'm glad it got picked. But at the same time, at the start of January, when this was our book pick, I am very much a mood reader. So I was more in the mystery thriller mood right now. And I didn't really want to pick up a fantasy. But then when I picked this up and I read the prologue, and it's like the origin story of how the world was created by these gods and stuff, I was just like, oh, okay, yes, I am here for this. Oh, I loved it. I actually just finished it this morning and was like, oh my gosh, the end? Really?
I know, the ending, for crying out loud.
I know. I was like, oh, I need the second one. But I loved it. Favorite of the year, gave it 5 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, with the ending, pretty sure this is a duology.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting more, which is awesome.
This could be a trilogy, I feel like. Like, honestly, I would read anything in this world. So even if there was like spin-offs or stuff.
Ooh. Yeah, because it's so rich with the backstory and everything. Yeah. Like they could write about Aurelio and
Stella.
They could just write
Stella,
about
like at the school or Teo and Aurelio, like
the parents
before he went away to school. Like there's just so much.
Right. Yeah. Like any of the, like you could do like a monthly, like Aiden, if you're listening or if you see this, a monthly newsletter that gives us just like a short backstory, like of the main people in the trial interacting with their families or interacting at school or like.
Or the first Jade Semidios. The
Right,
first
or
Jade.
give us more about Paloma or like
Ooh, that would be cool.
Oh, we could read about Paloma's trial. Oh, see, I have ideas for you.
That's what I like when there's so much about it.
Yeah.
So Teresa said, I like the diversity and descriptions of the trials, but really didn't get in the book until about page 334, which seeing that it's 400 pages long.
Not till the end, eh?
Yeah, because I would have probably never read this book if it hadn't been a book club pick.
Are you going to
Don't feel bad at all, girl.
Yeah. Are you thinking you're going to read the sequel to Teresa? Sorry, I was like T Teresa, but like, because, we call her T. So if you hear me say T, that's who we're talking to. But yeah, so Teresa, let us know if you think you're going to read the sequel, because I'm definitely going to read it. Yes. Oh, okay.
Okay, wait, we got to hear Heather's thoughts. T dropping the mic like already.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right away. Okay, so yeah, I felt the same way you guys did. I loved it. I really liked how rich of a fantasy it was without being overly complicated. Like sometimes when I pick up a YA fantasy, I'm just like, my brain hurts, like this, but this one, it was just so easy to read and fun to read too. Yeah. I liked the fact that the teens, that like the main characters like acted like teenagers, like swearing and just joking with each other. Sometimes they can like, I feel like the characters didn't feel flat. They felt very different, which is hard to do when there's a lot of characters, especially in like the competition style books. So I love that. And the fact that Aiden put in kind of those real world issues and the diversity in like really seamlessly, like just the fact that like even for Teo, his wings being a different color and him being kind of ashamed about that because that didn't represent him. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And yeah, so 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Oh, the wings. I can't wait to talk about the wings because
T has to read the sequel now because of how it ended. Okay, let's address the monkey or the obsidian in the room.
Okay, so Alicia, did you see that coming? Because I did not.
I did not see it coming, and I also don't believe it. I think it's I don't believe it. I think it's a setup, and that there's going to be like that they're being manipulated. So I did not see it coming, which is, we kind of joke like that's kind of a rarity for me.
But I know, that's why I was like, if you got it, I would be like, of course, like what the heck?
But I think that's why I don't believe it, right? Because I am so instinctive and picking up on those things. And so, I mean, I don't believe it. I'm going to be really interested to see how that goes.
I think he is bad, but he can be swayed because he's going to, like, he's been through everything that Teo helped him through, and Teo going back and saving him or them. And like, so it was just like, I think that they did have those evil intentions and carried through with them, but I don't think that Shio's going to stay that way.
Okay. So room for growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially because Teo like kind of took I don't know if it was Shio or I didn't listen to the audiobook. So under Shio, okay, under his wing, literally. Sorry. I'm having fun. With like everything telling him about, his experiences, and so they were able to bond over that. So I don't know. I think that there's Shio's not going to stay that way.
Okay. Vanessa, Heather, thoughts? Teresa, thoughts?
I mean,
Change of heart.
I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of agree with you that there might be like they might be a puppet in a way, because like Aristella was acting different, and I don't think that could have completely been explained by the fact that she wanted her brother to win.
Right. Like they're being manipulated. There's an outside force that they're being manipulated by the city, right? So yeah.
But like Shio's eyes never changed and had that like fit of rage and uncontrollable violence that
maybe it's because of like the difference between being gold and jade. Like maybe they were influenced. I don't know. Like they have a harder time influencing golds than jades or something like that.
But he's not really a jade.
right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know then.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Something isn't adding up for me.
Yeah, I will say I did have questions when that happened. That was a shocking twist that I definitely didn't see coming. But I also had questions like, well, one, how is it that no one knew he was an obsidian and not actually a jade? Like, is like the way they separate the jades and the golds and all these other gods and demigods, like, wouldn't there be a way to tell who's what? That's one thing I was thinking. So I was just wondering, like, how did he hide it for them not to know? And then also, too, if wasn't all of the obsidian supposed to be trapped? So how is he not trapped with the rest of them?
Right. It's like, is Mel Suerte like in charge of him, like has been raising him the whole time, like because he's like in a dirty deal? Like, are there in a he, right? Mel Suerte is a he. This is gonna be where it gets confusing for me, but like assigning all of the appropriate pronouns to all of the appropriate deities that we're dealing with and some ideas.
I think just a cello
is a they.
Is they them
and Tio, and I think maybe Shio,
yeah.
Oh, right.
But also a cello's lineage, right? Their parent god, or no? Yeah, there's a lot. I need a chart.
Yes.
We need a chart.
Me too.
Character name, pronouns.
I feel like Mala Suerte was in on it because, like, or either that or they're being influenced by the obsidians. But he's like, if he's bad luck, like he's just getting himself into a whole bunch of trouble. So I could see him knowing what he was doing.
That was the other thing I was gonna ask. So Mala Suerte, is he human? Or because I thought
he's a
parent god.
Dios.
Yeah, I thought he was the Dios.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Because that was like part of the concern of like not my child, like, and why would the human be there, right? Like, and he's too much, or yeah, we're too much of a player.
I asked that because if Shio really is an obsidian, wouldn't that make Mala Suerte an obsidian? So how is he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, something's not adding up. It's either Mel Suerte is not their real parent, right? Or it's like, like, but didn't somebody else also have two god parents, two Dios parents?
Nia. She had two dads.
So, I mean, we have that as a possibility in this world. So maybe it's both.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how Mel's birthday became Mel's birthday, because they got into a relationship.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Dale did hint there was something wrong. I didn't even catch on that there was something wrong throughout all of the trials.
I was catching that, but
yeah.
I at first didn't catch it until some of the characters that you wouldn't really expect to act aggressively started acting aggressively. Some of the characters like Orsilio, I expected that from him, so I didn't really take anything of it. But then when it was who was it? I think archery. There were a couple ones that were acting started acting violent.
Oh, Otzi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The lightning.
And Desi.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Marino. Is it? I forget.
Or yeah, Marino. Yeah, because Mar is sea, so water. Marino. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when they started acting weird and aggressive, that's why I was like, something's up. What's going on here? But I didn't really think about it when it was Arcelio or Aristella or Aurelio. Well, actually, no. Aurelio never really did anything.
No.
He was always trying to help and.
Yeah, it was Aristella and Arcelio, I think, were the main ones in the beginning.
Yeah.
That I just kind of thought was normal for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Well, I guess we have to read the sequel to get all of the answers on what exactly was going on.
We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
How long are we gonna have to wait? It's not clear.
Probably at least a year. I think it's already in the works, right? But also, can we talk about how Chloe Gong blurbs it on the back? That's great.
Yeah, I saw
She's
that.
blurbing everything I want to read or everything I'm reading right now. She's got a blurb on everything.
I really, one of my favorite characters was Nia, giving me Luisa from Encanto vibes.
Yes.
She was that hilarious, just everything she said was just so funny, but she was also badass and strong, but she never let being a gold get to her. And, so I just loved that. Just tall, muscular, and just but down to earth. And probably half my quotes were just the funny things that she had to say. So
that is a really great comparison that I had not made, and I love Encanto, but that's really I can see
when they said that, I was like, she's a Luisa.
When
you're strong, I forget exactly the description, but yeah, that totally makes sense. I could totally see that, and I liked how strong she was, inside and out.
Me too.
And she's just herself, she's just unpretentious, which I think is another Luisa kind of thing. She's just this is it, this is me, and she's affectionate, a big she's kind of like a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Yeah, she is,
and she wasn't full of herself, I'm a gold, I am better than you type of thing.
She always stuck to we're sticking together and protecting ourselves and or each other, and it wasn't I want to be the Sunbearer, and I don't care if that means that you're going to be last and have to be sacrificed, and
right.
T said I did like that Desi could mess with their minds and make them become obsessed. Yeah, all of their different powers are cool. And Desi was Desi the one that was deaf?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool representation too.
Yeah.
Nia was also my favorite as well.
Yay!
Kind of all the things we talked about. I just loved her, and she was so funny and so down to earth. So she was probably my favorite. Can we talk about the wings now?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Go on.
so it was really interesting to me. I thought that was such a cool, unique aspect that Aiden put in here, having the wings, Theo's wings, be like, you know, a certain color for males, certain color for females. And so, since Theo is trans, he was born with the wrong color wings and never liked to use them or show them because of that. And, you know, just him think, or, yeah, wait, Theo
Teo,
goes by,
yeah.
TOT. Yep.
so just him thinking that you know, he's gonna go through the whole trials and not use his wings at all, never use it, and then the first trial happens and he ends up having to use his wings, and I loved it. And then he was so like I like how when he finally accepted that his wings were a part of him, and he would have to use them and quit hiding them, that's kind of when they changed and aligned with his identity.
Oh, okay. So the wings were my favorite part, like getting to see that scene. And I was glad that it was so early. I thought we were going to have to wait a really long time to get to see his wings. And I mean, I was writing, by page 93, like as we're having that conversation, like, man, I really hope we get to see him and like use his wings. And I hope that they're boy wings eventually, right? Like, because that's the goal, right? And then so like it was like less than 30 pages later and I'm like going, yay! And I really thought, it would probably be like a final trial, like we're gonna have to read through this whole book because it's, there's so much of that like self-acceptance that had to come with it and all of that. So I was really, really glad that we did not have to wait the whole series or the whole book to get to see that moment.
Yeah.
And one of the quotes that kind of goes with this that I just love so much is on page 333, and it's kind of middle of the page, and it says, "Why?" Sumac pushed him back with warm hands on his shoulders and made him stand up straight. "Theo, you have become so completely yourself. I am in awe of the young man before me." And just like, oh, I love that. I love that. Like to like see someone who loves him and raised him say that to him was just so incredibly like great. And I think it probably meant more coming from Humac than it would have if it had come from Catal. Catal? Did somebody? Do we have a pronunciation? Catal?
I think it's
from his semi-dios or from his dios parents.
The Quetzal.
Quetzal. Okay. Yeah, because Humac raised him, right? And like that was I just thought like such a poignant part.
Well, and he was even like at the beginning, oh, you're not a hero, and Teo's like, it wasn't like anyone giving me a chance to be. So because like now he's being seen by the priest as someone worthy.
Right.
Yeah. But it was just like, yeah, like, oh, that was like, if I had to pinpoint a scene, it was when the wings came out and they were the boy wings. And I was so happy. And then Nia's reaction to him, like, damn, your wings! And like, you know, just
and
like
your hair. She's like,
like,
you look
yes!
awesome.
Like,
And
the
he's not-
green.
Oh, he still has to
see?
get used to it too, you know, like,
That's
like,
true.
oh, it's wet. Like, oh, now how do I shower with it? You know, so it was like kind of cool to see how he had to like work with it now that he was like accepting of it.
Yeah.
And like the scene where it's like, oh, like, can I touch your wings? And it's like, oh, like most people just touch them. Like, you know, you actually asked, and it's like, oh.
And he let Aurelio pet him.
So much consent. I swear to God, if they're not kissing in book 2, I am going to riot.
I was so surprised there wasn't even a kiss. I'm like, this is the slowest burn, but I'm here for it because it's like, because I'm like, I loved that because I'm like, it really made it more natural because it's like they, you know, there's kind of this, oh, I kind of like him, where there's all these scenes where I was like, it's going to happen now. And then it kept not happening. Yeah. So I was just like, well, they're still, I mean, like, they've got all this other stuff going on, and they had a lot of like drama between them that got cleared up about why Aurelio stopped talking to him because his mom was so controlling and all of that. And he's trying to gain this acceptance. So it was really good that we got to see Aurelio's point of view, but it's gonna happen. So
even better. And Teresa's quote though, she loves that, or like she loves what she's saying about Tio speaking up and bucking the system because we're 8. Like he's looking for the justice. And there was that point where they said, like, you don't speak up to cause trouble. You speak up because you see that something's wrong and you're going to change it. And I was like, oh, there it is. There's that 8 quote. Hello.
I love that too. He was so strong. And like, I mean, there were so many people like, what are you talking about? Like no one was believing him. It was, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's on page 334. So like right after that scene with UMac.
They're just like, calm down. Like,
right. It was like
drove you crazy in a good way, T, or
but yeah, UMac fixed Teo with a serious look, but you don't cause trouble for the sake of hurting others. When you see things are unjust, when you see people who are acting unjustly, you cause trouble by interrupting them. And I was like, oh, that is the most 8
chills.
Like, chills. Oh my God, like that is like, oh, somebody sees me in this world. I love that.
I marked that quote you just shared, and I also marked the one below it, a few paragraphs down towards the end, where Hermac says, "You'd have to be an idiot not to be. Troublemakers make change, Tio. You are your mother's son. You are the hero of Ketsan." I was like,
yes.
Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, that whole
oh my
thing.
God, that and actually higher up on that page on 334, I had quoted when Humac said, "You are loud, impulsive. You are a loud, impulsive, persistent seeker of justice, and that makes people uncomfortable, but it doesn't make you bad. It makes you very good, in fact, far better than the rest of us who stay quiet because they're afraid to speak up." I think that's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
It's like so cool from that quote. Like somebody saying that to me would 100% make me like, oh my gosh, like you understand. Yeah, see, and I get it. We know. That's cool.
Because of that, get it over with, kiss, so we can move on. Aiden's like, I'm making you work for this.
This would better not be a kiss on page 350 of another 400-page book. I will not be happy.
Well, I mean, now, I mean, Aurelio was so mad at Teo. Because
which I didn't get that either, because so first he was mad at him because his sister lost and she had to be the sacrifice, and he said something like like you
know how much
you didn't save her or something.
And
I went back and I looked at that scene and I'm like, but could he have done something really?
Right.
And then plus, he got out too. He lost too. So that was the other thing that made me go,
It was
something is up. He failed the last one, and he still ended up being
Well, it was because he saved Shio so that Shio wasn't last, which made Aristella last.
Yeah.
That was why he was mad at her, because he essentially chose Shio over his sister, and he's like, I just told you how much she meant to me, and like
but Aristella fell first. She fell down first. And then Shia was hanging on the log thing, and then he went and saved him before he fell too.
Huh.
So that's why I was like,
maybe if Shio had fell.
It was the part where Aurelio was trying to hold on to his sister, and he was falling too. So then Teo grabbed Aurelio, which caused him to save him, but that caused him to. I don't know if I said it right.
Are you talking about the very end when they go through that black hole portal?
Oh yeah, I think that's what you were actually talking about. Actually, that was the second time he was mad. Yeah,
that was the second part. But
because he held him because he wanted to go with her into the rift.
Yeah, and I kind of get that, but he wasn't even at the end of that. He wasn't super mad, but he was still. But I meant mostly for the first part. I didn't understand why he was mad at Teo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And something was up with the ranking system.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if we knew why, because then it was like, oh, well, then Teo became the Sunbearer. Was that because he saved, he was selfless? But then is that a criteria? So yeah,
I think maybe they want us to kind of think that, but I don't think it's it either. See, what I was thinking, especially after the end, after I finished it, I was like, okay, so the Obsidians had a plan all along. This was part of so I'm thinking the Obsidians were messing with the trials the whole way through. Like they were doing stuff with the rankings. They wanted to make sure, I think they wanted to make sure Teo won.
I would agree.
So they were doing stuff to mess with the rankings. And also, my theory is they were also behind the what's going on with everyone acting aggressive and weird.
100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
that makes sense.
We will definitely get more of the Obsidians now that they have free reign, because
Apocalypse.
What?
I said apocalypse.
Yes. I'm so excited that the Dioses gave them all the weapons and gifts. So it's like, it's like their level up. It's their
they got a lot of stuff now. It's like, I want to see this stuff in action.
It's their upgrade. Yeah.
I definitely said though, early on in this, it was sometime after page 54, because that was my last page note that I have in my journal here. I want to see this as a Netflix series. I feel like this would be an incredible Netflix series, because there's so many visual aspects, the diversity of you can do each chapter as a thing, you could do it by season. Oh my god, I think it would just be so good.
I do agree and like the idea, but also at the same time I'm like, I don't know if I'd want Netflix to do a series, because Netflix has been disappointing me. Every time I get into a new series that they do that I love,
They
and they
can't.
cancel it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay. But I feel like it could go really well with, like, they're kind of actioning. They did, like, what is it, like Shadow and Bone stuff, and like, like, and especially because aren't they working on Tomi Adeyemi's series?
Children of Blood and Bone.
Is that movie or series?
I don't know.
But I feel like it could go like in that same kind of realm. So, but like I would like to see it visually represented. I guess I could see it as a movie too. But I feel like with movies, there's more of a chance for them to like F it up and not include all the things they need to include. Like, I mean, it's every moment of a book that is into a movie, because not all the appropriate things from the book make it into the movie. That's one of our big concerns as book readers and movie watchers, right? Like, it wasn't long enough. It didn't give us everything. I think that's a universal book reader into movie watcher problem. I would make the argument. But so I want to see it like represented on a screen somewhere.
Yeah.
But I feel like I guess I don't care if it's Netflix. It could be Hulu. I don't care.
Network that won't cancel it after one season.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they've got like 7 or 8 seasons here from book one, like between book 1 and book 2. I bet they could do.
They could do a lot.
That's a more of a reason not to give it to Netflix, because they never go past season 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Never go past
Hulu. No, I don't have Hulu. Amazon Prime. Paramount.
I don't care.
Anything. Yeah. I also appreciated like for like YouTube, TuTube, like Instagrafia and TikTok for TikTok. Whenever I saw this, I was just like, this is giving me life. Also, since it's 4:47, I wanted to get to on the 47, I wanted to get to quotes or other things, but I literally just like found 3 quotes, and they were all just things that Nia said that made me laugh. But it was when Teo was trying to make sure that to prove that like Nia was really Nia in the last trial, and then she's like, when we were 10, you ate a roly-poly at the Midsummer Festival and made me lie about it. When we were 13, you got that horrible haircut and made me edit all your Instagrafia posts for a month until it grew back. When we were 15, he's like, okay, I believe you.
Phew.
and then when Teo did change his wings, on page 126, she's like, no hetero, but damn, Teo, your wings. Does this make me a furry? She's like, this is just gold that this is in here, or jade. Sorry. This is just jade. Okay, sorry.
Jade.
And then my last Nia quote for now is page 84, when Teo's saying like we should team up, and she's like, Nia's eyes lit up. We can be the kick-ass trio because we're going to kick their asses. Ooh, or the great-ass trio because we got great asses. Or at least I do. Shio, how's your butt? She asked, peeking over at him. Toned, we can start a squat regimen.
Yes. I wrote that down. Great ass trio, LOL.
I was just like, this is just like the best thing ever.
She was hilarious.
It just gave me life.
I did realize something while I was looking through the pages that the quotes I marked. So I do think maybe, Alicia, you're right that Malasuete is not Shio's dad, because I am looking on page 220 when Shio is talking to Teo about blockers and saying he wants to be, and Teo asks him, then why aren't you? And he says, my dad is weird with medical stuff. And then Teo found something wasn't adding up. Transitioning genders was common and completely natural. Teo had never heard of someone being against it, and especially not a god. but you had your gender confirmation ceremony. He doesn't have anything against it, Shio rushed to clarify. It's really doctors he doesn't trust. I guess bringing bad luck in a hospital is kind of a bad idea. And so that conversation, rereading it now, just made me. Oh,
wait, you got to keep reading because it says, Tail, I guess it still didn't sit right. I feel like there's still parts of me people can't see or understand, Shio explained. I've never felt like I belong or fit in anywhere, and not just because I'm ... a jade. I'm still not sure who I am. And then, do you mean like you're agender or bigender or non-binary or something? Shio lifted his wings in a weak shrug. Something like that.
Okay.
Interesting things happening here.
Okay.
So I was thinking, like, when I first read that, I thought it was just, the gender stuff happening. But now that we finished the book and going back, I'm like, ooh, this is probably that little hint that he's not one. He's not a jade. He's an obsidian.
I'm so glad you caught that.
I did not even consider. Yeah, I didn't.
And two, his dad, I think, maybe not his actual dad. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm so glad you caught that. Oh, so there were some little hints, just not what we thought.
We're subtle, and so yeah, we attributed them to other things. So.
That's interesting. It's funny though because I had marked that or the beginning of that scene as kind of just one of my favorite scenes because of how like awkward Shio was and how realistic that is to like real world conversations, like just the part on page 218 where he's like in all caps, so you're like trans and stuff, and then like and then it's like, oh, this is going to be a talk. An amused grin tugged his lips. Tail plopped himself down on his bed. What questions you got for me? And so, I thought it was funny because it's like, yeah, that can be how like the conversations start, but it was just funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally true.
Yeah, and like that's like such a 13-year-old thing to say because Tayo's a little bit older, right? 17, 16, something like that. 16,
yeah.
17.
Yeah.
And Shio was 13.
Yeah, so she was 13. So you're like trans and stuff.
You do that like HRT thing and the top surgery thing.
Right, and she was like, oh yeah, okay, all right, we can have this conversation.
All right, let's have this talk.
Yeah.
Cute. That was one of the things I appreciated was that Aiden did not make this easy for Teo at all. Like,
no.
He went through so much stuff. Like, it was just like, oh, you think, oh, this is just going to be simple. No, nope. Curveball here, curveball there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say, because I know I'm going to have to go here fairly quickly, but one of the things that I did really, really enjoy is that we got to see the rankings on the pages after the trial.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that. I really would have liked to have seen like a code to so for anybody that hasn't read it yet, like as the trials come through, each of these symbols is associated with one of the people participating in the trial, and they kind of move up and down. So it was really a nice way to make it more immersive because it like put you in the trial. It's like, oh, we're watching the trials real life rather than reading about it, and so I really liked that you could see that. But I think I could have benefited from a code showing me because I would get a little distracted as I was trying to because I wanted to know what the rankings were before I read about what the rankings were. I was like, where are they in this thing?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to see that. So I could have benefited from just this is their, in the back of an index kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Zuko, you're washing me out.
What?
Yeah, I
Zuko was making me washed out because he was so close.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I really did like that we got that, like the
Yeah.
rankings on the side pages.
I didn't really look at it because I didn't understand who was who with it. So I agree. I think that would have helped to have the coding. T says on page 386, Vendanza did say he thought his son would fail them, but that Tio gave him the solution. He was talking about Shio. Oh.
Yeah, but something still isn't sitting right with me about this. It just isn't. Like, I trust myself enough to trust myself, and like my instincts say there's something weird about this. Like, all right, like I'm gonna believe him because it's what my instincts do. So I mean, I see it, and I read that part, but I didn't believe it even then. I was like, this doesn't sit right. No, I don't accept this. And maybe it's because I don't want the Shio to be bad, right? Like maybe that's part of it, but I don't think that's all of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's true.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But so good.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So there's definitely more Vendanza and Chupacabra that awaits us. Any last thoughts on the Sunbearer trials?
I want to say my favorite scene was with the birds.
You're talking. Oh, I forgot we mentioned that in Messenger. I'm like, there needs to be more talking animals in YA. I am here for it all day, air day.
I love the birds when they go after Ursula and for son of Quetzal.
But even at the beginning, when he's got the birds and they're like spray painting the building,
it's so fun.
It's funny.
I like the
like bad cat. That's our boy. Silly.
I mean, Aiden really did think of everything because I did also notice when there was like a dinner or something, Tio ate like
fish.
Fish or something like that, and like other people had chicken or something, but he didn't eat it. I caught that. I was like, good on you. He's not eating himself, like.
It's problematic, I think, like best. And Mariano probably doesn't eat fish because of water stuff,
Right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed all of the world building. I think is like if I had to narrow down like one thing that I really enjoyed most, it was just the world building. I think Aiden did a really great job.
It's very solid and colorful and fun.
Or the trial with the different types of animals, and they had to catch one. Yes,
I love that so much, and I
want to see that.
Yes, and I was thinking Coco, right? Because Dante is an Alabrieje, right? And like, oh, it was so good to see that. And like, so, like, thank you for Coco that we have that, and like that gave me a little bit of that.
The visual,
like Mexican vibe, or like Hispanic-y, Aztec-y, like vibes, and I love that. But the Dante, oh, it's so good.
The weird descriptions, I had to look up like what they were because they can be all crazy colors and patterns.
And that's why I knew, because I knew that was Dante, but I also I'm a Disney freak, and over in Epcot in Mexico they have like handmade ones that people can buy. And they're like different, like all sorts of different animal.
That's so cool.
Mashups. So,
ooh.
But yeah, good time.
So this was a great way to start off 2023. Yeah. I think we're in for a good reading year.
One last quote that I loved was where they said, Tio, I forget who they're talking to, but they say a single choice could end the world. And then, just the whole thing, like when he gets told we all have a choice. Opsion, I think. is su Dios opción. Yes, the single choice could end the world.
Yes, and they repeated that again. So I was like, there's going to be probably some more difficult decisions that they have to make in the next book.
Well, when they said that, I knew like whatever was going to happen at the end, no one was going to die. Like no one.
Right.
A single choice did because Teo didn't kill Orstella.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So.
I mean, yeah, like I was like, all right, he's gonna win. Like, well, but that's like, you know, part of like the setup, right? Like Save the Cat beats, like that is our protagonist. We know going in that he's gonna win. We don't know how he's gonna win, but we know he's gonna win, right? Like, I mean, he might have a couple of like false defeats, but like he's going to be the Sunbearer, right? Like we know that going in. And I was like, there's no way he kills anybody. Like, there's no way he kills anybody. Even, I didn't think it was gonna be Stella, but I didn't. I was like, he's not going to kill him, but I also didn't think like, oh, this is going to be a big bad problem for everybody else.
I know.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so it was a good one. It was.
So thank you for joining us for this discussion. Please join us for our February Book of the Month pick, which is Promise Boys by Nick Brooks. I'm 50 pages in and like trying to read it slowly because it's like I literally like, you know, I bought this book, I started reading it, and then like an email came through and it was like, the hate you give meets every one of us is lying. I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so good. And then I clicked on it and it was Promise Boys. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. And it was just so funny that it like pulled me in like that line. I was like, whoa, what book is this? Oh yeah, I know. Okay, yeah.
It's funny
because it's just like, that's all you have to say.
Awesome.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
Well, please follow us, join our group on Goodreads if you're not already. Please join us for this next book club discussion, and we will catch you next month. And this is a short month, so thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.